Hey, my name is William Boyle. I wish more than anything that I could be there this year. Obviously, things have changed for everybody. We are still on heavy duty lockdown here, and I miss more than anything being able to come to France this year. Going on tour, coming to these festivals. I'm so thankful to French booksellers and French readers, to my publisher, to my translators, Simone Boyle, to everyone who has put this festival together and other festivals that I've been so lucky to attend. So I hope next year that I can be back over there, and I hope in its form that the festival goes well, and I'm sending you my absolute best. And I'm going to read a little bit from A Friend is a Gift You Give Yourself, which is my most recent novel that's come out in France. The title is a little different in French. This is the French edition, published by Gallmeister, translated by Simone Boyle, cover art by Ivan Canu. I'm not sure if I got his name exactly right, but I love the cover art, and I love, I've been lucky with this book. I love every edition of it, but this might be my favorite of all. This cover is just absolutely gorgeous, and the book is gorgeous, and I'm so thankful to Gallmeister and everyone there. So I'm going to read a little bit from the first chapter. This book is it's a comic crime novel, a screwball noir. I was very influenced by the films of Jonathan Demme, particularly Something Wild and Married to the Mob. And I was also very influenced by writers who I obviously idolize, like Elmore Leonard and Donald Westlake and Joe R. Lansdale. It's a book that goes to some wild and absurd places, but I think it's also very much rooted in the real, and in characters who I hope you come to really care about. The main characters in this book are Rina Ruggiero, who is a mob widow. Her husband was Gentle Vic Ruggiero, gunned down on his front stoop a few years before the action of the book. A little later in the book, we meet Lacey Wolfie Wolfstein, who is a retired Golden Age porn star and former grifter who is now settled in this kind of edge of the Bronx neighborhood called Silver Beach. And Rina's granddaughter, estranged granddaughter, Lucia, who is angsty and looking to get out and looking for trouble, kind of. And their lives crash together, basically. The book starts with Rina in southern Brooklyn, having just come home from church. It's a Sunday. Her neighbor, Enzio, who is 80, comes over and hits on her. He's a dirty old man. They've pretty much avoided each other their whole lives on the block. Rina's 60 now. She's been a widow for a few years. Enzio finally works up the courage to make a move on her. So the book starts there, and I'm going to read just a little bit from the second half of the first chapter. Enzio has convinced Rina to come back to his house for some wine and coffee. For some wine and cookies. The only thing I think I need to explain is I mentioned Vic, obviously, is Rina's husband who passed away, and Maria is Enzio's wife who passed away. He's also a widower. And after I read this short section, I'll talk a little bit more about where it goes after this. Okay. Enzio's house is just a few doors down, a two-family brick job. Enzio no longer rents out the downstairs. He tried about 15 years ago and got into a bad situation with a bunch of gypsies. A Christmas wreath still hangs on the front door of the upstairs apartment, which is where he lives. An Italian flag dangles from a pole rigged on the ledge of a third-floor window. The flag is weather-bitten, ragged. The Virgin Mary in the front yard has a chipped nose. Next to her is a flattened garden that died with Maria. Enzio's near-mint 1962 Chevy Impala, driven sparingly, is under a blue tarp in the driveway. They climb the short staircase up to the second-floor entrance. Enzio leaves his white Fila's on a mat outside and asks Rena to take off her shoes. "Really?" she says. "I care about the carpets." She nudges her feet out of her white Keds and kicks them onto the mat next to Enzio's sneakers. All these years, she's never been in his house. Not once, not for coffee with Maria, not anything. She nudges, It's exactly what she imagines, totally from the past. Green shag rug that's still in decent shape, plastic on the sofa, elaborate vases, paintings of vineyards, and posters of Jesus on the walls. There's a heavy glass cigar ashtray on a coffee table covered in lace doilies, and the smell of bad cologne in the air. The only thing out of place is the big screen TV in the living room. "You like the TV?" Enzio says, noticing her noticing it. "It's big," she says. 60 inches, picture's great, like having the movies in your house." "I don't get these big TVs. Give me a little TV." "That's fine. Why do I need to feel like I'm in a theater?" "I'll show you the picture after. You'll be impressed." Rena follows him into the kitchen. She takes a seat at the table. It's formica, the top patterned with white and gold boomerangs. A salt shaker stands alone in the middle of the table, a hulking ring of keys snaked around it. She looks over at the refrigerator. No pictures, no magnets. Dirty dishes are toppled in the sink. Empty pizza boxes are stacked on top of the dish drain. Enzio motions at the boxes and says, "The bachelor's life." He digs around under the sink and comes out with a dusty magnum of wine. He strips away the seal, humming, and uses a corkscrew key to yank the cork. He fills a couple of juice glasses, their flowered sides laced with smeary fingerprints, and gives one to her. "Thanks," Rena says, lifting the glass up to her nose and taking a whiff. "Larry does a great job with this," Enzio says. "He makes it down in his basement. I used to make it like that, but I got lazy. He's devoted." He comes over and sits across from her at the table, reaching out to clink her glass. "Salute." Rena doesn't clink back. She sips the wine. It's fruity and heavy. "The good stuff, right?" Enzio says. "Not bad," she says. "Not bad, my ass." He takes a long slug. "You want a cookie? What kind? Saviat? You're a Saviat girl, I can tell." "I'm good." "Come on, have a cookie." He gets up and opens the refrigerator. The white box of cookies is on the top shelf, wrapped carefully in a plastic pastosa bag. Keeping cookies in the refrigerator was a big no-no for Vic. "I'm good." "You sure?" "I'm having one." He peels back the plastic, opens the box, and takes out a seeded cookie. He munches on it, cupping his palm under his mouth to catch the crumbs. "I'm lonely eating this alone. Have one." "I'd appreciate if you quit with the cookies. I want one. You'll be the first to know." To each his own. He turns and goes back into the living room, starts fiddling around with the TV. The screen bleeps on. Bleeps? She's not sure of the word for whatever TVs do now when they turn on. Not bleeps exactly. More futuristic than that. A big bubble opens up in the middle, and then little dreamy rainbow raindrops flood the blackness. "What are you reading?" Rena says from the kitchen. "What are you doing?" Rena says from the kitchen. "Enough with the slow dancing," Enzio says. "I'm putting something on for you. I'm going to be impressed by your big TV." The screen is snow now, and then it's not. And then there are bodies, smooth bodies, tangled, 2 men and a woman. She's blonde and fake with silly boobs. The men are hairless, muscly in all the wrong ways, barbed wire tattoos on their arms. Rena doesn't want to think about what they're doing, all of them involved like that. "What is this?" she asks, standing up. "My favorite kind of movie." Nope. She shakes her arms and puts up her hands as if she's just touched something skeevy, maybe a dead mouse in a trap. She keeps her eyes away from the screen, not wanting to catch another glimpse of the bodies. It's the first time she's ever seen pornography. Vic, if he ever whacked off, must have done it to old life spreads of Sophia Loren, because Rena never found any dirty stuff in the house, not even a Playboy. You don't like it, Enzio says. No, I don't like it. Sicko, I'm leaving. She's in the living room now, everything swirling, focused on making it to the front door without any unnecessary Enzio contact. It's weird to be walking around his house in her socks. Don't leave. Let's watch. You lived your whole life like a prude. Let it go. Rena stops. You're calling me a prude? You don't know me. I know you. Enzio's closer to her now, almost at arm's reach. Loosen up, huh? Fuck you, okay? You like that? You like me talking like that? Enzio puts up his hands. She can see the action on the screen behind his head. He says, it's a nice movie. Nothing too crazy. I've got the wine. A nice movie. It's nothing strange. It's strange to me, okay? I've got Viagra. We can have some fun. Excuse me? Viagra. You're going to take a Viagra and then what? We're going to have sex on the couch? Enzio shrugs. Make love. Yeah, I can satisfy you. Rena's not sure if she should laugh again or continue storming out. What those bodies are doing now, like some horrible painting of hell. He's really thinking she's going to go along with this? Crawl onto the couch and let him go to town? I don't think so, Enzio, she says, so shocked that her voice feels full of restraint. He moves toward her and puts his hand on her arm. Think about it. You're going to go back to your quiet house? We got entertainment here. We could have real fun. Get your hand off me, please. I got this Viagra, he says. He pulls his hand away from her arm, reaches into his pants pocket, and fishes out a small blue pill. He pops it into his mouth and swallows it dry. Don't you want to touch me? Don't you want to be touched? I told you, I don't like being touched. He's getting closer again, reaching for her. She sidesteps him and picks up the heavy glass ashtray from the coffee table, holding it up in front of her chest with both hands. Touch me again, I'll hit you with this. Rena, I'm serious. You'd hit me? And then he's smiling, and his hand is on her waist. She can feel how rough and warm it is through her shirt. I'm about ready for some love, he says, aren't you? She lifts the ashtray over her head and then thwacks him across the head with it, hard as she can. A raw meat sound comes with the impact, and there's a little spray of blood. He makes a noise, a small, prolonged one, like a balloon deflating. He spins and collapses toward the coffee table, his head slamming the edge on his way down. He crumples to the floor. Jesus Christ, Rena says to no one. I told him not to touch me. I'm going to leave off there, and that's almost near the end of the first chapter. From there, Rena, thinking she's killed Enzio, steals his Impala and runs off, leaving Brooklyn and going to the Bronx, where her estranged daughter and estranged granddaughter live in this small community just right off of Throg's Neck called Silver Beach. And her thinking is they'll take her in no matter what trouble they've had in the past. Doesn't work out like that. Instead, she hooks up with their neighbor, Wolfie, who is the former porn star and grifter, who's now kind of retired to a quiet life of drinking in dive bars and just taking it easy. And they become kind of fast friends. Eventually, Adrian, her daughter, and Lucia also enter the picture because Richie, who is Adrian's ex-boyfriend and a former associate of Vic's, comes storming onto the scene, having just ripped off his cohorts in the mob and wanting to leave town with Adrian and Lucia. But this evil mobster guy, Kriya, is in pursuit, and everything kind of comes crashing together in the Bronx. After this, it becomes kind of a fevered road narrative with these main figures of Rena, Wolfie, and Lucia at its center. It goes upstate to the Hudson Valley, Monroe, and New Paltz before coming back down to southern Brooklyn. And like I said, it's a comic crime novel, a screwball noir, absurdism kind of balanced with, I hope, real, very human characters who are all facing down old ghosts, ghosts of the neighborhood, ghosts of their past, people they've known, things that haunt them, things they've obsessed over. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for reading. I wish more than anything I could be there. Thank you again to everyone who's put this festival together. I hope it goes well. Thank you again to French readers and booksellers. I'm beyond grateful to you. And thank you, of course, again to my publisher, Gallmeister, and to my translator, Simone Boyle, who brings these books to life in French. I'm really sorry I can't be there. I wish more than anything that things were different right now and I could be. Take care.